All right, turning to some other news. Big story tonight. The San Francisco man accused of causing the deadly home explosion last week in the Sunset District. He made his first court appearance today. 53-year-old Darren Price wasn't actually arraigned today. The judge pushed that to Friday. We weren't allowed to show Price's face, but his attorney stood with her hand on his shoulder in support throughout the hearing. Prosecutors say butane vapors from an illegal drug lab in the home may have interacted with a dryer, causing the blast. The judge also granted the attorney's request to let Price talk to his children while he's in jail.
When they are facing what will likely be the most difficult moments of their entire life, at bare minimum, he should be allowed to speak with them. And I think he has an incredible amount of love for them, and he is so concerned about them and their well-being right now.
Price is facing a total of 9 felony charges, including involuntary manslaughter, a drug manufacturing charge, and 4 counts of reckless burning. His kids were not home at the time of the blast, but he is facing 2 counts of child endangerment, as well as 1 count of elder abuse. The medical examiner identified the victim as 51-year-old Rita Price, Darren Price's wife. A friend of hers said Price was wheelchair-bound after suffering some sort of stroke or brain aneurysm years ago. She leaves behind 3 children. Her oldest was out of town when the explosion happened. The 2 younger children are staying with a relative now. The blast caused massive damage to neighboring homes, and our Katie Nielsen is in the Sunset with how those residents are hoping to move forward.
We're here on 22nd Avenue, the site of that explosion, and just about 45 minutes ago, a closed-door meeting wrapped up. It was only for residents who were impacted, residents much like the Garth family who used to live here in this yellow house.
Bits and pieces, really.
David Garth was only able to salvage a handful of items from the home he and his family lived in for almost a decade.
These were 2 of her favorite books.
A few mementos and books from a back bedroom that didn't burn in the aftermath of Thursday morning's explosion.
It's total loss. It's everything like damaged, everything like completely gone.
David's wife, Nang, says their 6-year-old daughter's bedroom was on the side of the house closest to the explosion, and now almost everything inside is unrecognizable.
Normally I would have been home at that time, but that day things played out differently, and thank goodness we weren't there.
His relief turns to frustration as he talks about his former neighbor, Darren Price, who has since been charged with crimes related to the explosion, but has not been convicted.
I'm angry at Darren for killing his wife and endangering everybody else, destroying our home and the other neighbor's home over there.
Almost a dozen homes were damaged in some way by the blast, which is why San Francisco Supervisor Joel Engardio is hosting a closed-door meeting for impacted residents.
We just want to bring all the department heads together to talk to the residents and offer information and potential resources.
David and his wife are hoping there's more the city can do to help. He says they don't have renter's insurance, and their only safety net right now is an online fundraising campaign.
Most of what survived, which is clothing that was in the back bedrooms, we've been told not to use because it may be contaminated with asbestos or lead from the old house and also from next door, and also the chemicals that Darren was playing with.
That community meeting was not open to members of the media, but we did have a chance to talk with some of the residents when they came out. They said they were grateful that the city put something together to talk with them about all of the services available, but then we're also somewhat disappointed to hear there is not going to be a lot of financial help coming their way.